The blaring smoke alarm echoed as Lieutenant Colonel Lauren Hayes entered Lecture Hall 7, clutching coffee and a datapad with 43 unread classified briefings. A pungent scent of scorched synthetics lingered, and 3 frantic Alari technicians waved devices at a wall panel that had inexplicably self-ignited overnight. "Morning," Lauren announced, sidestepping fire-suppressant foam. Breaking stride. "It appears someone has been toying with our electrical infrastructure once more." The 42 extraterrestrial cadets, meticulously aligned in rows across the amphitheater-like lecture hall, directed their assorted limbs, visual organs, and respiratory equipment towards her with a unified focus that would have elicited tears of pride from even the most hardened drill instructor. The esteemed Galactic Defense Academy was renowned for forging exceptional military minds across the cosmos, a feat that seemingly encompassed the capacity to disregard inconsequential structural mishaps while upholding impeccable composure. Instructor Hayes singled out Cadet Zixara from the 3rd row. Her resonant voice possessed the characteristic harmonic inflections unique to her people. The youthful Althari's ethereal blue skin radiated with barely suppressed curiosity, a telltale sign Lauren had come to recognize. Shall today's discourse delve into the Terran military's perspective on tolerable casualties within asymmetric warfare contexts? Lauren hesitated, her coffee mug suspended mid-air. Over her half-year tenure at the Academy, she had become increasingly familiar with the aliens' penchant for inquiries capable of stunning a Pentagon briefing room into utter silence. The Althari, specifically, possessed an extraordinary aptitude for intellectual acuity, dissecting diplomatic courtesies with the ease and precision of a plasma cutter through tissue paper. "Intriguing start to the day, Cadet," Lauren remarked, placing her coffee on the podium and initiating the holographic display. "However, let's delve into something a tad less profoundly existential. Today's focus, the Battle of Kepler Station, should provide ample fodder for our minds." The display sprang vividly to life, showcasing a 3-dimensional rendering of the space station, now infamous as the pivotal arena of the Outer Rim conflict. The battle was relentlessly fierce, definitively game-changing, and widely hailed in official accounts as a sterling testament to human tactical ingenuity against insurmountable adversity. Classified records reveal Lauren was never meant to be aware. It was initially conceived as something drastically different. The Kepler Initiative offers a compelling case study in strategic resource deployment. Lauren proceeded, adjusting the hologram to illustrate the initial deployment strategy. Human forces were outmanned by a ratio of 4-to-1, outmatched in firepower by a factor of 12, and possessed only approximately 6 hours of sustainable life support upon the enemy fleet's arrival. Cadet Morex, a colossal K-warrior, brandished an arm. Instructor Hayes, tactical analysis indicates human triumph is statistically implausible, given these constraints. How do you explain this anomaly? Lauren offered a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. That's precisely where it becomes compelling, Cadet. Human military philosophy prioritizes resourceful adaptability over sheer firepower. When standard approaches falter, we innovate. Innovate how precisely? Zixara interjected, her innate inquisitiveness surpassing typical academic restraint. Observe, Lawrence responded, progressing the hologram to highlight the decisive stage of the conflict. The station commander enacted a decision that breached nearly 15 articles of the Galactic Warfare Accord. He primed the station's fusion core for catastrophic overload, transforming the entire facility into a doomsday weapon. obliterating the enemy flagship and decimating half their armada. The classroom became hushed, save for the gentle hum of the ventilation and the faint discord of the maintenance crew debating electrical schematics in a babble of tongues. Lauren observed her students absorbing the details, a mesmerizing array of otherworldly emotions flickering across their faces. "That's self-destruction," Cadet Tillin breathed, her voice a faint murmur through her intricate respirator. "That's triumph," Lauren countered. The remaining enemy forces withdrew. The frontier settlements were salvaged, and hostilities ceased half a year later as the opposing regime petitioned for peace. Occasionally, the most unimaginable solution proves to be the sole effective one. Zixara's complexion had darkened to a richer azure, suggesting Lauren's discovery evoked either intense contemplation or profound anguish. "Commander Hayes, a confidential query, if I may." Every survival mechanism ingrained in Lauren's 15 years of service blared a red alert. Private inquiries amidst a cohort of extraterrestrial trainees felt like volatile, unexploded mines, innocuous until triggered. "Permission granted," Lauren responded with calculated precision. "I maintain the prerogative to abstain from answering." "Have you ever taken a life?" The query detonated in the chamber, a palpable wave of energy. Conversations evaporated mid-sentence. Data displays hung suspended, silent. Even the repair team ceased their tasks, captivated. Lauren endured the crushing pressure of 42 alien stares, locked on her with laser-like precision. "A most astute inquiry," Cadet Zara responded. "My people prize forthrightness, mentor. Circuitous communication begets confusion and stagnation, in our estimation." The youthful Althari's tone lacked animosity, solely radiating the unadulterated intellectual zeal that rendered her kind exceptional academics, yet woefully inept emissaries. Lauren placed her coffee down, contemplating choices. Academy standards dictated disclosure, requiring instructors to uphold professional conduct while offering authentic insights into military life. Her issue? Classified ops beyond official recognition. The essence of military service, Lauren initiated deliberately, signifies that individuals occasionally face challenging choices under intense pressure. Warfare is inherently volatile. "That's beside the point," Zixara interjected, her lucid voice piercing the diplomatic facade with surgical precision. "I inquired whether you, yourself, have terminated another conscious life form." The ensuing silence was profound, amplifying Lauren's heartbeat. She gazed upon a vast ocean of alien visages, each embodying a unique species, culture, and cosmic perspective on humanity's role. Curiosity sparked in some eyes, concern clouded others, and a palpable fear gripped those truly grasping the question's magnitude. Cadix Zara Lawrence stated definitively that the information was beyond your clearance level. The voice echoed from the classroom's rear, silencing Lawrence with the undeniable power of one who habitually halts discourse. Director James Cross occupied the doorway, his dark attire and stoic demeanor broadcasting his Human Intelligence Services affiliation, the echelon of human intel that instilled unease in rival agencies. Lauren's stomach plummeted. Cross's presence signaled trouble, his appearance implying a perilous conversation. "Director Cross," Lauren stated, her tone measured. "I hadn't anticipated the Oversight Committee's presence." "Oversight Committee." Cross entered the chamber, his boots resounding in the abrupt hush. "Is that the euphemism we're using?" He navigated with the sleek grace of a predator meticulously trained to conceal its lethality. A smile stretched across his face, radiating the comforting ambiance of a cosmic wake. The extraterrestrial trainees fidgeted nervously in their chairs. Their diverse physiological reactions to pressure forged a vibrant surge of nervous energy, electrifying the atmosphere. Lauren recognized this pivotal moment, her students awakening to the reality that their instructors were not mere educators, but engaged players in a grander, more intricate endeavor. "Class dismissed," Cross declared, his tone brooking no argument. "Director, with all due respect, this is my classroom and my designated lecture period," Lauren retorted, circling the podium to confront him squarely. "These cadets are here to delve into the annals of human military history, and I am here to impart that knowledge." Cross remarked, "Your performance has been exceptional," his smile broadening, yet remaining devoid of true warmth. "However, certain facets of human military annals are deemed unsuitable for broad scholastic discourse." Zara's complexion darkened to a profound purple, signaling what Lauren perceived as either intense ire or unwavering resolve. "Director Cross," she stated, "I merely posed a straightforward inquiry regarding Instructor Hayes' prior military service. Undeniably, this qualifies as standard academic interaction." Cross's gaze then fixed upon young Althari, and Lauren noted his demeanor evolve from polite impartiality to a far sharper intensity. "Cadet Zigzer, correct? Ranked first in xenology, concentrating on human behavioral tendencies and wartime strategies." "Indeed, sir," Zixaro affirmed, her voice unwavering despite the chromatic fluctuations on her skin. "You must appreciate that certain intelligence remains confidential for compelling reasons. Your query, Cross, delves into areas not merely delicate, but acutely perilous to interstellar harmony." "Hazardous? In what manner?" Cadet Morex inquired, his warrior lineage superseding his species' inclination to respect authority. Cross's smile vanished. "Perilous in ways that threaten peace treaties, jeopardize the Academy's integrity, and reignite conflicts that led to millions of deaths to resolve." He paused for impact. Certain truths carry a steep price for revelation. Lauren experienced the customary strain inherent in navigating the nexus of obligation and ethical conviction. Her students warranted candid insights into the stark realities of military deployment, yet Cross's concerns regarding potential repercussions were legitimate. Her service history remained sealed not due to shame, but sheer intimidation. Director Lawrence stated cautiously, "Perhaps a private discourse would be more fitting, allowing the cadets to pursue their studies uninterrupted." "I'm afraid that's unattainable," Cross retorted. "This venue is now undergoing a security audit, and all present are subject to strict information control measures." The chilling words, "information containment protocols," crashed into the room, a palpable force. Lauren observed her students' expressions morph, the dawning comprehension that their harmless academic inquiry had unleashed something undeniably sinister. "What does that signify?" Zixara inquired, her voice now subdued, yet retaining that perilous hint of inquisitiveness that ignited this whole predicament. Cross delved into his jacket and extracted a compact apparatus resembling a hybrid of a tablet and a weapon. "It signifies, my dear, that this discourse is irrevocably erased. It implies that your query will be expunged from all formal records. Pursuing this investigation any further constitutes a severe security violation, with repercussions reaching far beyond mere academic penalties." Lawrence interjected, positioning herself protectively between Cross and her students. Director, these cadets are under the Academy's educational mandate. They possess rights and established clearance protocols. Cross interjected. Access to information still requires clearance. He shifted his gaze beyond Lauren, addressing all present. Esteemed individuals, future leaders from across the galaxy, you embody the highest values of your world. Throughout your careers, you'll face confidential material, understanding the crucial boundaries that shield military intelligence, and, crucially, uphold interplanetary harmony. Cadet Tillin inquired. Tentative appendage. Director Cross concurred. How can we truly grasp human military doctrine without immersing ourselves in their lived military experiences? A truly insightful point, Cross responded, his diplomatic smile resurfacing. Doctrine is deciphered through meticulous case studies, shrewd tactical dissections, and thorough historical investigations. Revealing doctrines isn't sourced from private disclosures by cleared individuals. The phrase, cleared individuals, lingered ominously. Lauren sensed numerous alien gazes fixed upon her, now enlightened. She was more than an educator. She embodied sensitive intel deemed unsafe for explicit dialogue. Professor Hayes, Zixara articulated deliberately, a tremor of apprehension or perhaps awe now audible in her tone. Precisely what actions did you undertake during your time in the armed forces? Cross intervened swiftly, anticipating Lauren's reply, advancing with a seamless grace honed by extensive training far beyond conventional military drills. Cadet Zixara, you've gravely breached Academy Regulation 847 Delta concerning the unauthorized acquisition of classified intelligence. Following this lecture, you are to present yourself to the security office forthwith for a comprehensive debriefing and mandatory counseling. Morbeck's resonant voice carried a deep tremor, signaling his species' profound disquiet. The equivalent of posing a perilous query in a lecture hall, of probing the incorrect subject at a precariously inappropriate juncture. Cross asserted, military training demands unwavering discipline, and discipline hinges on comprehending limitations. Certain limitations are in place to shield you from data that might jeopardize your future operational capabilities as officers. Lauren observed her students grappling with this intricate notion. The Academy cherished intellectual freedom and bold exploration, yet they discovered some investigations unveiled truths best left undisturbed. Director Cross, Lauren announced, her voice resonating with the command of a leader accustomed to life-or-death decisions. I believe a strategic pause and thorough reassessment of this situation are paramount. We're facing a severe data security compromise, Cross declared, with potential repercussions reaching far beyond these walls. He addressed the cadets. How many of you have loved ones actively serving in the armed forces? A multitude of hands, arms, and limbs shot up across the room. Lauren tallied over 30 responses. Who here has family relying on the existing peace accords for safety and sustenance? More hands shot up. Almost every student engaged in Cross's spontaneous poll. Then who'd jeopardize those families' safety, driven by mere curiosity about an instructor's military past? Hands slowly descended as Cross's point landed. Lauren witnessed a shift in her students' expressions as this intellectual endeavor bore tangible ramifications, rippling outwards from the ivory tower. I perceive, Cross stated, a note of fulfillment in his tone. You're grasping that certain intelligence is safeguarded not for the guardians of its secrets, but for those vulnerable to the repercussions of its unveiling. Zixara's skin evolved into a translucent, ethereal blue. Director Cross, are you implying Instructor Hayes' classified military background poses a threat to interstellar harmony? I'm asserting, Cross countered, that certain inquiries court disaster, and some truths are best left unspoken. His gaze locked onto Lauren. Even within the academic sphere, Lauren sensed the profound gravity of 15 years in service, a half-year of instruction, and roughly 42 alien intellects grappling with concepts that defied their universal comprehension. Indeed, her devotion to nurturing future military leaders through education fueled her decision to join the Academy's faculty, valuing the exchange of knowledge and insight. However, she realized certain experiences were excessively intricate, perilous, and strictly confidential for dissemination. Kadixara, Lauren asserted ultimately, your inquiry was valid, meriting a forthright response. But Director Cross insightfully highlights the inherent complexities in delivering a definitive answer. What complexities are we facing? Zixara inquired, her voice laced with the tenacious curiosity that initially propelled her into this predicament. Lauren deferred to Cross, who offered a subtle, almost imperceptible affirmation. The intricacies, Lauren articulated, stem from my military tenure, encompassing operations classified beyond officially acknowledged tiers. Revelations regarding these actions could destabilize the very peace accords that underpin institutions such as this academy. A profound hush descended upon the room, imbued with an entirely new gravity. The hush of intellects grappling with transformative data redefined their perceived realities. Acts, the MC articulated deliberately, entailing lethal force. Acts, Lauren clarified, involving choices that preserved lives through preemptive termination. Judgments that averted conflicts by decisively concluding them. Determinations that fortified tranquility by neutralizing menaces to it. Cross advanced once more. He stated that such determinations remain confidential, as the tactics employed in their execution diverge from the publicly presented perception of human military strategy. Crucial for fostering amicable relations with our intergalactic allies. Zixar's complexion deepened to a profound, near-ebony azure. Are you implying humans possess a hidden level of peril? Cross responded. Mankind is precisely as formidable as required to safeguard our cherished ideals. Occasionally, divulging that intensity is inadvisable. Lauren observed her pupils absorb this, a vibrant mosaic of extraterrestrial sentiments and comprehension unfolding. Months she'd invested, drilling into them humanity's war chronicles, a stark truth dawning. They'd grasped the facts, not the weight. Kepler Station, Ten breathed, the name fragile through her mask. The commander, the reactor gambit. Was it you? The query slammed into the room, a palpable wave, as every gaze locked onto Lauren with burning focus. Cross's hand drifted to his jacket, his eyes calculating, assessing the potential fallout of prolonging this exchange. This intel, Lauren began deliberately, remains strictly confidential. But then Zixara murmured, and that was the true jolt. A newfound comprehension resonated in her voice, chilling Lawrence to the bone. The Academy's blaring emergency sirens weren't just another drill. The jarring drill alerts, now ingrained in the cadets' routine, blared. These profoundly unsettling sounds were exclusively for security compromises, enemy assaults, and crises demanding instant lockdown. Lauren had encountered them only twice in her half-year tenure, each time precipitating near-catastrophic interstellar diplomatic showdowns. Even before the siren's first wail faded, Cross's hand instinctively reached for his comm device. "Control, Director Cross here. Urgent status report?" The reply crackled in his earpiece, but Lauren gleaned enough to realize the crisis involved numerous security breaches erupting across the Academy's central grounds. Cross's demeanor transformed from professional solicitude to an intensely sharp focus. "All personnel, maintain your present positions," Cross declared to the classroom. "This entire facility is now operating under Code 7 security parameters." Cadet Moldsee's forearms visibly tightened against his desk. "Director Cross, what's the implication of Code 7? "It signifies," Cross responded, his attention split between the classroom and his ongoing communications with Academy security, "that this building is now entirely locked down until further directive. Absolutely no entry, no departure, and strict confidentiality regarding this room's proceedings beyond its confines." Zixara's complexion turned a ghostly, ethereal blue, a clear indicator of intense duress, familiar to Lauren. "Director, are we facing imminent peril?" Cross momentarily halted his transmission, meeting her gaze directly. "Cadet, your inquiry has unfortunately initiated security protocols. These protocols are in place due to the hazardous nature of certain information if left unregulated. The current lockdown suggests your question has possibly garnered interest from entities with self-serving agendas." The implication slammed into the room with visceral force. Lauren observed her students' countenances morph as the chilling realization dawned. Their intellectual explorations might have unleashed forces far exceeding the university's confines. "Who's watching?" Talon questioned, her voice slightly suppressed by her breathing device, yet laced with unmistakable dread of entities monitoring communication channels for predetermined keywords and expressions. Cross stated, "Individuals with standing orders to probe into any unsanctioned discourse concerning classified personnel and their operations." Lauren experienced the well-known sensation of being scrutinized by inimical intelligence agencies. Throughout her tenure in active military service, she had become adept at identifying the nuanced indicators suggesting observation, tracking, and the sort of focus that could abruptly become lethal. The Academy, theoretically a sanctuary, was fortified by pacts ensuring intelligence agencies couldn't meddle here, Lauren voiced cautiously. "Director Cross, are you implying foreign entities are surveilling this very room?" Cross countered, "I'm positing certain dialogues are autonomously scanned by algorithms oblivious to the nuances between scholarly discourse and actionable data," gesturing around. "Every utterance here." The hushed atmosphere of the room, meticulously monitored for the last half hour, has been thoroughly documented, dissected, and designated for in-depth examination by multiple distinct intelligence organizations. The ensuing stillness was punctuated solely by the persistent wail of emergency responders and the gentle drone of the Academy's climate control infrastructure. Lauren observed her students absorbing the data, an intricate mix of alien stress and bewilderment manifesting in their physiological responses. "Which intelligence agencies?" Zixara inquired, her inquisitiveness seemingly outweighing her survival instincts. Cross flashed a smile, devoid of the cordial warmth he'd previously exhibited. The sort who prefer anonymity, cadet, the sort operating within legal gray areas, the sort authorized to implement measures they see fit to safeguard classified intel. Cadet Haltz, a reserved Nexari Council delegate, seldom vocal in class, raised a slender appendage. "Director Cross, what measures would they deem crucial?" "That depends," Cross responded, "on their assessment of the threat's magnitude. Should they perceive this classroom dialogue as a negligible security lapse, they might merely observe subsequent exchanges and submit a record. However, if they judge it a grave menace to operational integrity, they could implement more assertive strategies." "Direct intervention," Morex echoed, a low growl rumbling in his voice, his species' telltale sign of deep unease. "Are you suggesting neutralization?" Cross's face remained impassive, but Lauren noticed the subtle tightening of his shoulders, a clear indication he was bracing for potential conflict. "I believe any measure deemed necessary to halt the security incident is warranted." Lauren advanced, positioning herself protectively before her students. "Director, these cadets are under the sacred guardianship of the Academy's educational mandate. Interspecies law grants them undeniable rights, shielding them from repercussions for scholarly investigation." Instructor Hayes Cross retorted, "You, above all others, should grasp that certain scenarios surpass conventional legal safeguards. Once classified intel is implicated, the paradigm shifts." The utterance, "you, above all others," conveyed undercurrents that sent a chill down Lauren's spine. Cross's implication extended beyond her mere military background. He alluded to exclusive insights into her actions, surpassing any data within her formal profile. "Elaborate," Zix demanded, her tone edged with the very astute intellect that had initially propelled her into this predicament. Cross fixed his gaze upon Lauren, and she discerned the wheels turning in his mind, meticulously evaluating the advantages of revelation versus the perils of sustained secrecy. "Essentially," he declared at last, "it implies that Instructor Hayes possesses first-hand exposure to scenarios where standard legal safeguards are rendered ineffective." An unsettling hush descended upon the room, broken only by the persistent wail of sirens and the subtle hum of 42 extraterrestrial intellects grappling with data that defied their comprehension of civilized societal norms. First-hand exposure to what precisely? Tellin murmured, barely audible. Lauren felt burdened by 15 years of clandestine missions, a half-year of instruction, and the dawning, chilling comprehension that her history was on a collision course with the present, potentially jeopardizing everyone present. From first-hand experience, she articulated deliberately, these are operations operating far beyond conventional military protocols. Undocumented operations authorized at the highest levels. Operations engineered to tackle unsolvable challenges through unconventional means. Cadet Keller, silent until now, interjected. Covert operations. The words reverberated through the room with palpable impact. Lauren observed Cross's demeanor transform from detached diplomacy to a significantly sharper intensity. Precisely where did you encounter the term cadet? Cross inquired, his voice now laced with a distinct note of apprehension. My family holds positions within the esteemed KE military intelligence sector, Keldar responded. We maintain proprietary classification systems for clandestine operations beyond official recognition, known as shadow protocols. I imagine humans possess analogous categorizations. Cross's hand gravitated towards his comm device once more. Control, Director Cross here. I require expedited background checks on all personnel presently in Lecture Hall 7. Priority Alpha clearance. The response crackled in his earpiece, yet Lauren gleaned enough of the transmission to realize the security situation was spiraling far beyond a mere academic debate. "Director Cross," Zigzara uttered, a chilling comprehension lacing her voice, causing Lauren's stomach to plummet. "Are you implying that Instructor Hayes participated in clandestine operations?" "I'm suggesting," Cross retorted, "that certain inquiries unlock gateways best left undisturbed, and some unveiled portals are irrevocably open." Lauren observed her students grappling with this weighty notion. The Academy championed intellectual liberty and unfettered exploration. They were discovering, however, that certain investigations ventured into realms where liberty and security became fundamentally incompatible. "Elaborate on these black operations," Morex pressed, his combat training seemingly overriding his species' ingrained respect for authority. Cross glanced at Lauren, and she perceived the precise instant he resolved to disclose information that would irrevocably reshape her students' understanding of human military strategy. "Operations," Cross began deliberately, "that involve proactively neutralizing potential conflicts to maintain harmony between species and prevent power imbalances. Stopping wars before they erupt, ensuring lasting peace. Shielding innocent civilians by removing those who pose a danger to them." The ensuing hush was absolute. Lauren distinctly heard her pulse, gazing upon a sea of alien visages, each embodying a unique species, culture, and perspective on justice, morality, and pragmatic malevolence. "Assassination," Tillin murmured, her voice a mere breath through her respirator. "Precise neutralization of critical threats, strategically calibrated. Meticulously planned operations aimed to curtail collateral damage and amplify strategic influence." Zigzara's skin had morphed into a profound, near ebony blue, and Instructor Hayes was integral to these initiatives. Instructor Hayes Cross, renowned as a top-tier operator in special operations history, boasted unmatched success, pioneered inventive tactics, and achieved mission completion in seemingly insurmountable situations, cementing her legendary status within intelligence circles. Lauren sensed 42 extraterrestrial eyes lock onto her, now enlightened. She wasn't merely their instructor, she was a seasoned eliminator, honed, armed, and empowered to neutralize threats to humanity with tactics beyond conventional warfare. "The Count?" Zix inquired, her tone laced with the same perilous fascination that had ignited this whole affair. "How many what exactly?" Cross parried, his face betraying he understood perfectly. "Just how many lives did she extinguish?" The query lingered, a suffocating miasma. Lauren felt the crushing burden of a decade and a half of clandestine ops, scores of triumphant assignments, and a casualty tally sealed away not from shame, but from sheer horror. "The intel," Cross stated deliberately, "is classified beyond officially acknowledged levels. Its secrecy stems from a magnitude capable of shattering interspecies harmony if revealed. A palpable hush then descended, distinct in its gravity. The silence was thick with minds grappling with seismic shifts in their understanding of humanity. Potentially destabilizing for all interspecies relations, Morex amplified, his tone laced with a novel blend of apprehension and profound respect. "Potentially enough," came the echoed confirmation, "to make our galactic compatriots question humanity's trustworthiness as peacekeepers, or whether we are, in essence, apex predators, exceptionally adept at masking our primal nature." Lauren observed her students absorb this revelation. Insights into their varied physiological reactions reveal an intricate mosaic of extraterrestrial emotions and comprehension. She devoted months educating them on human military chronicles, yet now recognized they'd never grasped its profound significance. "The Kepler station siege," Keller articulated abruptly, his tone imbued with a newfound clarity. The base commander's reactor rigging was a fabrication, a smokescreen. Cross maintained his composure, though Lauren detected subtle tension in his shoulders, signaling he braced for a potentially explosive, irreversible discussion. "Explain further," Cadet Cross requested cautiously. "Official reports claim the commander heroically chose to sacrifice himself and crew to halt the enemy fleet," Keldar pressed on. "Yet should Instructor Hayes have been tied to covert ops, and if she indeed was stationed at Kepler, then the reactor's surge wasn't a last-ditch act of heroism. It was a meticulously orchestrated operation, designed for the precise elimination of a high-value target." The profound implications of Keldar's incisive analysis resonated through the room with undeniable force. Lauren felt the collective gaze of the classroom bore into her, laser-focused, and she witnessed the pivotal moment when her students grasped that their previously held understanding of a landmark battle in recent military history was, in essence, a skillfully fabricated deception. "The enemy flagship, Zixara," she breathed, her voice tinged with dawning comprehension and chilling dread. It wasn't simply annihilated in the blast. A figure was aboard, a VIP significant enough to warrant obliterating an entire space station just to erase them. Cross's hand edged toward his jacket, and Lauren perceived the wheels turning in his mind as he meticulously analyzed the potential risks versus the rewards of prolonging this exchange. "Kadexara," Cross stated deliberately, "you're now venturing into realms of classified data that could swiftly lead to your apprehension and intensive questioning by numerous global intelligence organizations." "But I'm accurate," Zixara retorted. Her relentless curiosity dwarfed her self-preservation instincts. Instructor Hayes didn't just participate in the Battle of Kepler Station, she masterminded it. Lauren felt burdened by a top-secret revelation concealed for more than a decade. A critical mission averted a catastrophic war, saving millions, coupled with the dawning awareness that her students were on the cusp of understanding humanity's true potential when pushed to the brink. "The crux," Cross murmured, "is whether you can bear the weight of being right." Then darkness descended. As the primary power faltered, emergency lights activated within 3 seconds, casting Lecture Hall 7 in an unsettling crimson radiance, turning recognizable countenances into strange, shadowy visages. Lauren's hand automatically gravitated towards her hip, a subconscious habit, seeking a firearm no longer present, absent for half a year, ever since she exchanged military garb for an educator's relaxed attire and the pretense of a tranquil scholarly existence. Cross clutched his comm device, a menacing weapon in his other hand. "Control, Director Cross here. Sector 7 blackout. Backup status?" The terse reply, via earpiece, etched concern on Cross's face. Lauren only caught snippets of the grim report. External disruption, multiple compromised access points, unidentified adversaries. Zixara's voice, sharp amid the crimson gloom, echoed the cold calculation that ignited this crisis. "This isn't a simple power outage, correct?" Cross's laugh lacked any genuine amusement. "Cadets, by this critical juncture in your training, it's vital to grasp that coincidences surrounding classified operatives are exceedingly rare." The revelation struck the room with palpable impact. Lauren observed subtle shifts in her students' expressions under the emergency lights, their diverse stress responses orchestrating a symphony of unsettling dread and bewilderment that charged the atmosphere. The power was deliberately severed, Mork stated, his forearms tightening against the desk, a subtle display betraying the warrior training battling his scholarly composure. Someone deliberately cut the power, Cross affirmed. Their objective is to manipulate the situation, giving them a tactical advantage over us. The young cadet cautiously elevated one of his lengthy limbs, the gesture casting peculiar silhouettes in the crimson illumination. Elaborate on those operational objectives, Cross responded, his focus split between the lecture hall and his persistent efforts to reconnect with Academy security. The sort that necessitates acquiring intelligence from individuals privy to confidential data, preferably under conditions of obscurity, disarray, and detachment. Lauren sensed the oppressive burden of relentless pursuit by enemy intelligence agencies. Throughout her distinguished military service, she had more frequently been the pursuer, yet she discerned the precise tactical signatures indicative of a skilled operation intended to isolate, extract, and ultimately neutralize select individuals. "They're targeting Instructor Hayes," Ten breathed, her voice softened by the rebreather, yet resonating with chilling clarity. "They crave intel, plain and simple. Intel held by Hayes, insights unearthed in this very discussion, and intel that certain powers would much rather seize through less than cordial means." The emergency lights pulsed erratically, throwing eerie, shifting shadows across the walls, transforming the once familiar classroom into a scene from a chilling nightmare. Lauren detected noises from the hallway beyond, the rhythmic thud of footsteps, hushed voices, and the unmistakable electronic whir of advanced surveillance gear, hinting at intense monitoring. "Director Cross," Zigzara uttered, her skin morphing into a ghostly, almost translucent blue, a stark testament to her escalating distress. "Are we on the precipice of an assault?" Cross's visage darkened considerably. "Cadet, your inquiry has unveiled the presence of highly sensitive operations. Such operations inevitably cultivate adversaries, those targeted, survivors harboring resentment, individuals thirsting for retribution. The grim reality of our compromised lockdown facility implies a bold, direct assault by adversaries." The phrase "people who survived" struck Lauren with brutal force, her flawless 15-year record in covert ops now stained, a stark reminder that even perfect missions yield imperfect outcomes. Occasionally, it ensured the most deserving individuals persevered, yet the very notion of deserving often possessed a nuance far surpassing the constraints of mere mission outlines. "Survivors of precisely what predicament?" Keldar inquired, his tone imbued with the sharp analytical acuity that had previously unveiled the realities of the Kepler station conflict. Lauren observed Cross, witnessing the precise instant he resolved to disclose details that would profoundly reshape her students' perception of their human allies' capabilities. "Survivors of covert missions meticulously crafted to neutralize distinct menaces to interspecies harmony," Cross articulated deliberately. "Missions that occasionally necessitated the complete eradication of entire organizations, expansive networks, and intricate command hierarchies to avert even greater conflagrations." The ensuing hush was shattered solely by the incessant wail of emergency sirens and the thud of substantial objects shifting in the hallway. Lauren pinpointed the sound, the unmistakable rasp of tactical gear being deployed for a breach. Entire entities, Morex reiterated, his tone infused with emerging strains of awe, or perhaps sheer dread. The Kepler station operation, Cross elaborated, didn't just obliterate an enemy flagship. It decisively crippled the entire command hierarchy of a faction poised to reignite the Outer Rim War. The reactor overload, seemingly a desperate act of martyrdom, was in reality a meticulously calibrated strike that neutralized 12 prime strategic assets in one fell swoop. Zix's skin had deepened to an almost obsidian hue. That cataclysmic explosion claimed 12 lives. 12 individuals who were plotting mass murder, Cross retorted. 12 souls whose demise averted a war, safeguarding 3 star systems from utter devastation and preventing the collapse of the entire galactic economy. Lauren keenly observed her students absorb the information, a diverse array of reactions painting a fascinating portrait of foreign emotion and nascent comprehension. She'd dedicated months to elucidating the theoretical underpinnings of military strategy. Yet they were now grappling with the realization that its real-world implementation demanded choices often transcending conventional ethical boundaries. Instructor Hayes eliminated them. Tillen's voice was barely audible, masked by the hum of her breathing apparatus. Instructor Hayes affirmed that she executed a mission, rescuing millions by neutralizing 12 critical threats. The simultaneous, efficient, and remarkably clean elimination of these threats underscores her exceptional skill and unwavering professionalism. The corporal brandished 3 digits, a span of 4 fingers separating them. The encroaching auditory assault from the corridor intensified, Lauren discerning voices articulating tongues alien to the Academy's standard security detail. Cross registered it as well, his weapon's handle clenching tighter in his grasp. "Director Cross," Haltos murmured softly. "Intruders detected. Are we facing individuals with a divergent perspective of the Kepler station incident?" Cross retorted. Individuals convinced the explosion's 12 victims weren't threats to neutralize, but luminaries demanding retribution. The revelation impacted the room intensely. Lauren sensed 24 otherworldly gazes lock onto her with sharpened comprehension. She was more than just an educator. She became a prime target, with individuals meticulously plotting payback for over a decade. "Their ultimate goal is her demise," Zix breathed, almost inaudibly. "Not merely death," Cross countered, "but the extraction of intel, classified operations, concealed targets, undisclosed missions still shrouded in secrecy. Their readiness to breach an Academy stronghold for this intel signifies its immense value, even risking an interstellar crisis." Lauren grasped the gravity of clandestine truths eclipsing Killard Station. 15 years in deep cover unveiled missions, targets, and tactics potent enough to topple regimes, reignite wars, and shatter the bedrock of galactic concord. "Beyond these, what else is involved?" Keller inquired, his relentlessly analytical mind seemingly incapable of resisting the compelling logical trail blazed by Cross's disclosures. Cross glanced at Lauren, and she detected the precise calculus in his gaze as he meticulously balanced the potential rewards of complete transparency against the inherent perils of ongoing secrecy. Preemptive strikes that neutralized threats before they escalated into wars, Cross articulated deliberately. Interventions that averted conflicts by strategically removing instigators. Actions that safeguarded peace by definitively denying disruptive individuals any chance to ignite chaos. The emergency lights pulsed erratically. Lauren discerned the whir of powering up weaponry, the subtle thrum of surveillance, and the steady pulse of what sounded like detonation timers. "Just how many of these operations were there?" Morex queried, his voice edged with steel, caste training seemingly conquering his species' inherent respect for authority. "Adequate," Cross retorted, "to elevate Instructor Hayes to the zenith of undesirables across known galaxies, making her termination a cardinal objective for no less than 7 distinct intelligence organizations, potentially transforming this classroom discourse into a security infraction, jeopardizing the existing equilibrium of authority." Lauren observed her pupils grappling with this notion. The Academy esteemed intellectual liberty and unfettered investigation, yet they were realizing certain investigations culminated in locales where liberty and security became inherently contradictory. 7 intelligence agencies, Zixara echoed, her tone imbued with newfound comprehension and apprehension. 7 confirmed cases are known, thoroughly vetted, though more may exist. Classified operations inherently breed adversaries over extended periods. Some possess exceptional resources, unwavering resolve, and incentives exceeding typical criminal or military capabilities. The hallway clamor ceased suddenly, yielding to a stillness far more chilling than the preceding sounds. Lauren discerned the strategic sequence, the ultimate readiness stage before an incursion. Assault squads were inspecting gear, validating aims, and poised to advance with deadly precision. "They're breaching that door soon," Lauren murmured softly. Cross affirmed, weapon now distinctly displayed. "Instructor Hayes, realize those beyond this room seek no captives. They crave intel, willing to employ any means to extract it." The gravity hung heavy. Lauren surveyed her pupils, 42 bright minds attending the academy, to master military strategy and interspecies collaboration, now poised to confront the brutal truth hidden beneath our seemingly civilized world. "What's our move?" Tillin questioned, her voice laced with rising fear. "We endure," Cross asserted, "and we safeguard classified intel. We uphold stringent operational security measures and guarantee that this incident won't mushroom into a full-blown crisis, potentially jeopardizing the delicate balance of interspecies relations." Lauren keenly felt the characteristic burden of safeguarding civilian lives amidst a volatile combat scenario. Throughout her distinguished military tenure, she had honed the crucial skill of making judgment calls, effectively weighing crucial mission objectives against the potential for unintended collateral damage. She'd never confronted a scenario where her students, her charges, risked becoming casualties in a conflict ignited by her past. "Director Cross," she stated softly, "these cadets aren't authorized for the impending events." "Indeed," Cross concurred, "they aren't. Yet they're about to receive a visceral lesson in the harsh realities of covert operations, regardless of their consent." The oppressive silence in the corridor lingered, punctuated solely by the wail of emergency sirens and the Academy's backup generator's subtle thrum. Lauren sensed the suffocating tension, akin to immense pressure in a tightly sealed vessel, anticipating that its inevitable eruption would irrevocably alter the landscape. "Instructor Hayes," Zixara interjected, her tone laced with the same perilous inquisitiveness that had ignited this entire predicament. "What became of the other operation's survivors?" Lauren glanced over, receiving an almost invisible nod. "Some," she began deliberately, "adapted to the stark reality that their former organizations, strategies, and ambitions were defunct. A few discovered fresh missions, forged new alliances, and identified innovative means of fostering galactic harmony. "And what about the rest?" Keldar inquired. "The rest," Lauren responded, "devoted years meticulously plotting their retribution." The emergency lights gave one last, feeble flicker before the door detonated inward in a spectacular burst of sparks and mangled steel. The incursion was executed with a level of exactitude that Lauren immediately recognized from her own extensive operational background. Precisely positioned shaped charges target critical structural vulnerabilities. Detonation timing optimized for devastating impact and minimal pre-warning. Entry protocols prioritize complete room control within mere seconds post-breach. 6 figures clad in tactical equipment surged through the smoking threshold with the relentless efficiency of liquid death. Their motions flowed together with the practiced precision of a team that had meticulously drilled this operation countless times. Lauren reacted instinctively, her body responding before her conscious mind fully grasped the danger. 15 years of ingrained muscle memory trumped 6 months of academic habits. She lunged behind the instructor's podium, yanking Cross down with her as energy blasts crackled through the air where they'd just been standing. The room choked with the unique aroma of military-grade plasma discharge, intertwined with the sharp tang of superheated atmosphere, punctuated by the raw terror of 42 alien cadets abruptly initiated into the brutal reality of war beyond textbook theories. "Get down!" Cross bellowed, his weapon spitting controlled bursts, reflecting a veteran's cold calculation honed from countless harrowing encounters. "Attention, cadets. Immediately assume emergency positions behind your desks." The tactical team leader issued commands in a dialect Lauren vaguely remembered, a guttural language unheard for over a decade. The harsh, guttural military dialect of the hegemony, officially outlawed following the peace agreement. The words were sharp, precise, radiating the gravitas only years of meticulous preparation could forge. Target locked. Instructor Hayes, unconditional surrender is your only option, or we will systematically terminate your students until you yield. Lauren felt the agonizing pressure of untenable battlefield decisions. Her decorated military past held similar grim ultimatums, but never involving civilians, especially not vulnerable students who entrusted her with knowledge, not exposure to the brutal truths of her covert past. "Instructor Hayes," Zixara's voice sliced through the din, resonating with the same sharp, calculated intellect that had ignited this whole predicament. "Presumably, these are the survivors you alluded to, correct?" The tactical team leader pivoted his helmet towards the youthful Alari, and Lauren witnessed the instant the mission's directives morphed from a straightforward retrieval into a significantly intricate endeavor. "Intriguing," the leader remarked, his voice laced with a hint of playful amusement, or perhaps veiled menace. "Cadet Zixara, Alari Diplomatic Corps, specializing in decoding human behavior. Your incisive questions today have been extraordinarily insightful." A palpable wave of realization crashed through the chamber. Lauren grasped it wasn't merely vengeance. It was an intel-gathering op, ignited by the classroom chat, scrutinized via surveillance, and executed with meticulous preparation. "You've been observing us," Cross stated, weapon aimed at the squad leader. This entire scenario was meticulously orchestrated. "Director Cross," the commander affirmed, "your reputation for incisive tactical analysis is truly well earned. Indeed, we've been vigilantly monitoring communications originating from this facility for quite a while. And yes, We strategically arranged for specific inquiries to be posed by select students. Indeed, we've eagerly anticipated this chance to unearth data unjustly concealed for ages. A chilling realization dawned on Lauren, enveloping her like an icy shroud. The classroom dialogue, Zixara's probing inquiries, even Cross's sudden arrival, all meticulously orchestrated by individuals who've painstakingly plotted this scheme for years. The blackout, Mord stated, his forearms straining against the toppled desk. You orchestrated this power failure to sever our connections. We manipulated the situation, crafting the ideal environment for extracting sensitive information, the leader affirmed. Confinement, disorientation, and a pressure cooker of stress. The perfect recipe for unveiling deeply guarded secrets. Cadet Haltz lifted a slender appendage, the motion measured in the crimson emergency glow. What intel do you require? The team leader's helmet swiveled. Lauren discerned a careful assessment in his stance as he considered the pros and cons of complete transparency. We require the full operational dossier regarding Instructor Hayes' classified missions, the commander articulated deliberately. Disclose target designations, methodologies employed, authorization hierarchies, and the real-time status of active engagements. The ensuing quietude was punctuated solely by the persistent wail of emergency sirens and the gentle thrum of the tactical team's sophisticated gear. Lauren witnessed her students absorbing the data, a fascinating array of physical reactions, composing an intricate chorus of palpable apprehension and dawning comprehension. You intend to reignite the wars? She interjected sharply. Tillerin breathed, her voice softened by her breathing mask, yet laced with undisguised dread. Our mission is to reinstate the power equilibrium fractured by unsanctioned human meddling, the leader clarified. The casualties from these actions weren't mere threats. They were influential figures embodying valid political causes, extinguished by assassination. Lauren acutely felt the profound ethical dilemma that had characterized her entire service. The individuals she neutralized were undeniably leaders, yet they spearheaded impending genocide, devastating terrorism, and catastrophic wars threatening countless lives. The fact they embodied sanctioned political motivations didn't alter the brutal reality of their intended actions. Sanctioned political motivations, Keldar echoed, his sharp mind meticulously dissecting the ramifications. You're referring to the faction scheming to reignite the Outer Rim War? We champion the Alliance, forging a fairer redistribution of wealth and governance across the Outer Territories, the leader asserted. The very Alliance eradicated by a meticulously crafted act of terror, masked as a valiant self-sacrifice. The words reverberated through the room, striking with palpable force. Lauren observed her students' expressions morph as they grasped the profound realization that identical events could be viewed through vastly different lenses, shaped by perspective, political loyalties, and access to privileged intelligence. Kepler stations fall, Zixara mused, her skin deepening to a profound blue, signaling deep contemplation. You posit it was an act of terror, not a strategic military strike. We assert, the leader responded, that the calculated obliteration of a civilian space station, executed to eradicate key political figures, unequivocally fulfills the criteria of terrorism by any sensible assessment. Human intelligence authorization doesn't absolve the act's inherent nature. Cross's weapon was still trained on the team leader, but Lauren detected a visible struggle with the profound moral quandary. Those leaders, Cross stated deliberately, were scheming to ignite conflicts, resulting in millions of civilian casualties. The Kepler Initiative preempted those clashes. The Kepler Initiative, the leader clarified, neutralized a dozen individuals representing the stakes of billions across the outer territories. Individuals who continue to await retribution, meticulously plotting their comeback, striving to reinstate the power equilibrium fractured by human encroachment. Lauren now grasped the profound weight of repercussions stretching far beyond mere tactical maneuvers. After 15 years immersed in clandestine operations, her focus had been laser-pointed on immediate mission objectives, often overshadowing the broader, enduring political ramifications of her choices. "What's the head count?" Morix inquired, his combat training seemingly eclipsing his species' inherent respect for superiors. "Sufficient," the leader responded, rendering current peace treaties obsolete. "Sufficient to reignite dormant conflicts. Sufficient to shatter the illusion of undisputed human military dominance your governments propagate across the galaxy." The emergency lights pulsed erratically, and Lauren detected noises from the hallway indicating the tactical team had backup. Increased footsteps, amplified voices, and sophisticated tech being deployed suggested a far grander scheme. "This transcends mere vengeance," Lauren murmured. "It's about acquiring crucial intel for a sprawling war." Her gaze met the tactical team leader's helmet as it swiveled toward her, and she witnessed the precise instant the operation's core rationale crystallized. "Instructor Hayes," the leader stated, "for 15 years you've neutralized perils to human prosperity, averted conflicts threatening human supremacy, and upheld a power equilibrium that prioritizes humanity's political and economic ambitions above all other species." The ramifications were truly monumental. Lauren understood her covert missions hadn't merely neutralized isolated dangers. They had meticulously dismantled resistance to humanity's burgeoning reach, dominion, and authority in interspecies dynamics. "Are you suggesting humanity has orchestrated galactic power plays via targeted assassinations?" Zix inquired, her tone laced with newfound comprehension and dread. "We posit," the leader responded, "that human military strategy encompasses the calculated removal of political adversaries, masked as anti-terrorism efforts. The victims of these operations were decidedly not terrorists. They stood as beacons, offering visions beyond human dominance." An utter hush descended, so profound Lauren could discern her own pulse. Her gaze swept across the assembly of extraterrestrial visages, each embodying a unique species, culture, and framework for comprehending justice, morality, and legitimate governance. "The peace accords," Tillin breathed. "They're not to genuine peace at all. These are the instruments of surrender. The peace accords, as affirmed by the Supreme Commander, signify humanity's definitive ascendancy in the cosmic theater. They were brokered following the decisive neutralization of pivotal dissenting voices. Critical resistance cells were shattered, and vital alternative power paradigms were obliterated through maneuvers mirroring those masterminded by Instructor Hayes. Lauren now bore the profound burden of 15 years immersed in classified operations, viewed anew. Each completed mission, neutralized threat, and eliminated target had meticulously built a campaign securing human preeminence in interspecies relations. Yet, Keldar mused, his sharp mind grappling, the averted wars, countless lives spared. Human lives, specifically, the leader amended. Prevented conflicts, averted human expansion into territories claimed by species' ancient lineage. Saved lives, primarily shielded colonizing humans, encroaching millennia-inhabited worlds. The situation's moral quagmire became profoundly intricate. Lauren now grasped that her distinguished military trajectory had been erected upon presumptions of human virtue far more intricate than she had previously acknowledged. Therefore, what transpires henceforth? Cross inquired, his weapon steadfastly aimed at the tactical team's commander, yet his tone betraying nascent nuances of apprehension. The leader responded, "Instructor Hayes furnishes us with exhaustive operational dossiers of her classified endeavors, names, dates, methodologies, clearance tiers, and the present status of active engagements. Data crucial to re-establishing the political equilibrium destabilized by human meddling." Lauren surveyed her cohort, 42 bright minds drawn to the academy to master military tactics and interspecies collaboration, only to unearth that their academic bedrock was rooted in calculated duplicity and control. "And should I decline?" Lauren inquired. The tactical team leader brandished his weapon, subtly adjusted its trajectory, zeroing in on Zixara with an unnerving accuracy indicative of rigorous training. "Then," the leader articulated, "we shall commence showcasing the ramifications of human military protocols by neutralizing all personnel compromised by sensitive intelligence. Commencing with the inquisitive student who posed those insightful inquiries." Lauren grappled with the crushing burden of battlefield decisions. Yet this was bigger than mere survival. The intel at stake could shatter governments, reignite dormant wars, and erode the very bedrock of interspecies harmony. "Perhaps there's another way," she murmured. The helmet of the tactical team leader pivoted towards her, and she witnessed the precise instant the operation's boundaries redefined themselves. "Instructor Hayes," Cross cautioned, his voice laced with apprehension. "Whatever strategy you're contemplating, remember certain intel is far too volatile to disseminate." Lauren countered, "And some truths are far too perilous to suppress." She rose deliberately, her hands displayed openly and devoid of weaponry, her stance suggesting capitulation. Yet her gaze betrayed the strategic brilliance that cemented her status as one of the most formidable operatives in military annals. "The third path," she declared, fixing her gaze on the tactical team leader, "is for me to furnish you with intelligence far surpassing mere operational logs. I offer the whereabouts of the very person who sanctioned each and every one of my assignments, orchestrated my every maneuver, and relentlessly masterminds the methodical dismantling of obstacles to human supremacy." The ensuing silence crackled with palpable tension. Lauren witnessed the precise instant the room's occupants, Cross, the tactical team, her pupils, grasped she was proposing to unveil the existence of an individual whose identity was shrouded in classifications so restricted they were, officially, non-existent. The enigmatic director, the strategic team leader, intoned, his voice laced with newfound intrigue and concern, the mastermind who has engineered human ascendancy in galactic matters for over 2 decades. Lauren affirmed, the architect behind the liquidation of your political vanguard, the orchestrator of your resistance's downfall, and the continuing puppet master pulling strings to preserve human hegemony over interspecies dynamics. Cross's weapon pivoted towards Lauren, her gaze meeting his, and she perceived the cold calculus in his expression as he evaluated the potential repercussions of letting this disclosure proceed. "Instructor Hayes Cross," he enunciated deliberately, That intelligence is sequestered at classifications that could fracture the existing galactic political equilibrium. Excellent, Lauren retorted. Perhaps the moment has come to dismantle that rigid framework. The squad leader eased his grip on his weapon, and Lauren perceived the instant the mission's aims transcended mere intel retrieval, evolving into something far more intricate. You're proposing a complete breach of your own command hierarchy? The leader questioned. I propose to furnish insights illuminating the genuine essence of human military strategy, Lauren clarified. Details exposing the calculated program of targeted eliminations, strategic influence, and political meddling, all veiled beneath the pretense of peacekeeping. Gazing at her class, 42 brilliant young minds now realized their entire education rested on a bedrock of deceit and brutality. They were owed the unvarnished truth about the cosmos they were being groomed to protect. The clandestine director, she revealed, her voice imbued with the gravity of 15 years in deep cover ops and half a year spent instructing pupils worthy of authenticity, is embedded within a phantom facility, orchestrating unsanctioned operations via unacknowledged methodologies. With the tactical team leader's weapon fully lowered, Lauren recognized the pivotal moment when the operation's triumph was all but assured. Location? The leader pressed. Lauren's smile emerged, devoid of the affability she'd projected during countless hours of training. Intelligence, she stated, is invariably contingent. The emergency lights pulsed a final, dying breath before the familiar hum of the power grid surged back, flooding the room with a stark illumination. The tactical team's weapon seemed even more lethal in the newfound light, and the students' faces registered pure, unadulterated shock. Conditions? The leader pressed. Their safe departure, Lauren stated firmly. They rejoin their families, their nations, their ordinary existences. They'll completely disregard anything discussed here, and no intelligence agency will ever reach out about this event. She lingered, her gaze sweeping across her students, perceiving the dread, bewilderment, and comprehension etched on their otherworldly faces. Consequently, she proceeded, I'm granting you intel, empowering you to neutralize the person manipulating humanity's galactic supremacy for more than 20 years. Intel poised to reshape the political landscape you've battled to command. The squad commander weighed the proposal, his visor pivoting towards his unit as they engaged in a swift, soundless debate via comms. Acknowledged, the commander affirmed. Your trainees are extracted securely, and you divulge the Shadow Director's coordinates. Laura acknowledged, deeply aware of the profound choice reshaping her students' futures, interspecies harmony, and the balance of power dominating galactic affairs for over 2 decades. The clandestine director, she stated deliberately, works from Black Site Omega in the Centauri system, orchestrating operations via a network boasting nearly half of the present human diplomatic corps and methodically suppressing political dissent against human ascendance. For more than 2 decades, an absolute hush descended, so profound Lauren distinctly perceived the gentle thrum of the Academy's climate control and the faint echoes of regular campus life beyond their sealed-off haven of shock and unveiled truths. 2 decades, Zigzara breathed, her skin tinging to the glacial blue that signaled utter disbelief and dawning comprehension. 2 decades of calculated assassinations, shrewd political maneuvering, and the suppression of any challenge to human supremacy, Lauren affirmed. 20 years of clandestine operations engineered to cement humanity's position as the undisputed apex species in the cosmos, irrespective of the devastating impact on other sentient races. The tactical team leader's helmet swiveled toward Cross, his weapon still trained on Lauren, his face betraying an inner conflict sparked by her stunning disclosures. "Director Cross," the leader inquired, "were you aware of this?" Cross's smile lacked all warmth. "I was privy to the fact that certain operations were classified beyond the conventional levels. I was completely unaware that these actions constituted a calculated, ongoing strategy to secure humanity's preeminence in interstellar matters." The ramifications were truly earth-shattering. Lauren grasped that even the intelligence agencies tracking her every move hadn't fully comprehended the sheer scale and ambition of the Shadow Director's clandestine activities. "What's the body count?" Tillin inquired, her voice strained by her respirator, yet laced with unmistakable dread. "Sufficient," Lauren responded, "to guarantee humanity encounters minimal organized resistance as we spread, exert our power, and dominate interstellar relations. Sufficient to render these so-called peace accords a mere ratification of human triumph, far from a sincere pact between equals." The squad leader affirmed, his stance betraying his contentment with the intelligence gathered. "This fundamentally alters the landscape," he declared. "Neutralizing the clandestine director will pave the way for re-establishing political equilibrium, reinvigorating authentic resistance efforts, and contesting humanity's pervasive control over intergalactic matters." Lauren gazed upon her students one last time, perceiving the trepidation, bewilderment, and nascent comprehension etched upon their unique faces, realizing this knowledge would resonate with them eternally. "Class is adjourned," she uttered softly. The tactical squad initiated their extraction, their motions as meticulously precise and harmonized as their initial breach. The commander halted at the ravaged entrance, his visor pivoting towards Lauren, perhaps with reverence, perhaps with compassion. "Instructor Hayes," he declared, "you've unveiled intelligence poised to redefine galactic dominance. Your pupils will forever recall this as the day they grasped the stark reality of human strategic philosophy." Lauren acknowledged, sensing the profound repercussions stretching infinitely past these academy walls, past all prior imaginings of her teaching role. "Excellent," she declared. "Perhaps the cosmos will finally witness humanity's formidable potential when pushed to the uttermost limits." The strike team vanished down the hallway, leaving a sharp, lingering tang of plasma fire and the profound hush that descends after earth-shattering truths are unveiled. Cross slowly lowered his weapon, his face etched with the burden of a man who had just seen the dawn of a new, uncertain age. "Instructor Hayes," he murmured, his voice hushed. "Do you grasp the magnitude of what transpired?" Lauren surveyed her students, 42 burgeoning intellects who sought mastery in military strategy, only to confront the brutal reality veiled beneath our polished civilization. "I've unveiled the unvarnished truth," she asserted. At last, Zixara's skin transformed, settling into a profoundly thoughtful azure. "The stark truth of human military doctrine," Lauren elucidated, "the stark reality of humanity's ruthless pursuit and preservation of dominance. The insidious eradication of dissenting voices, masked as legitimate counter-terrorism efforts. The unvarnished truth of 2 decades dedicated to securing humanity's paramountcy throughout the galaxy." The ensuing hush was punctuated solely by the gentle whir of the Academy's climate control and the muted cadence of typical campus life unfolding beyond their secluded sphere of disclosure and its ramifications. "So what's the play now?" Modax inquired, his combat-honed discipline seemingly wrestling with the profound ethical dimensions of his newfound understanding. "Right then," Lauren declared. "Return to your loved ones, your nations, your everyday existence. Erase everything you've witnessed within these walls, and breathe not a word of this affair to another soul." She lingered, her gaze sweeping across each student, discerning comprehension in their otherworldly expressions. "And throughout the cosmos," she pressed on, "the universe now comprehends the dire repercussions when humanity claims to uphold peace while methodically eradicating any individual daring to question their skewed interpretation of that peace." The agonizing wail of emergency sirens abruptly ceased, replaced by a profound silence that resonated like the definitive closure of a pivotal era and the nascent dawn of an unforeseen future, destined to irrevocably alter the course of existence. "Our perceptions of Earth were flawed," Zixara murmured, her tone imbued with a newfound comprehension that would indelibly shape her future. "Indeed," Lauren concurred. "You were."